smoking too, sipping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all.
Well.
That's the sound of a party just about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, my friends, my neighbors, to this radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally
Hi, Mom.
as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. You are joining us for show number 368.
That is, when you do the math, approximately halfway to 400.
Good to know. Show number 368 is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, as it is pretty much every week.
And sometimes Nicolas Cage.
Occasionally we delve into other topics. I was just about to say, there hasn't been any good Nick Cage news in a while.
No.
There's been some monkey news. We covered that last week, but there hasn't been
Monkeys fling poo.
a lot of good
I just happened to watch that movie last night where he was a pilot and everyone disappeared and went to heaven.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like half the world went to heaven.
How terrible was it?
I'd never seen that before. It was interesting.
Well, I saw a preview, a trailer on YouTube for something he's in. I don't even remember the name of it now. And I just thought, who's still casting him? How is this happening? How is it happening? And then
he's going to have a resurgence after the unbearable weight of massive talent because he was so amazing. He was, however, playing himself.
That was amazing. And if you go back and watch him in like Raising Arizona, he's magnificent in that movie.
Yeah.
So he's had good movies, but boy, yeah, I think
it's not a guarantee.
Maybe he just got into financial trouble along the way somewhere and just had to take whatever scripts he could get. And, luck of the draw, maybe occasionally there'll be a good one in
Maybe
there.
he wants to buy planes like Travolta or something.
Maybe, I don't know. Who just turned 70, by the way. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what will, You think about him like walking down the street in Saturday Night Fever with that, classic. How many shows have like borrowed that scene with the theme music to show one of their characters doing the same walk? It's it's one of those universal things. Well, welcome to our program, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to revisit the best cigars of the year, and the reason we're going to do that is because so many of the lists don't come out until January or February of the following year. In fact, I just got the Cigar Snob issue with their 2023 cigars of the year. And we have another really interesting list of the best new cigars of the year from Cigar Journal. And they only in this one include new ones, not just necessarily things they happen to review in 2023. So we'll go back and look at that a little bit. Ian and I have already given our list, so we won't need to reprise those. But, we'll have fun looking at these lists. What I always find interesting is how many cigars there are on this list, despite the incredibly large number of different cigars we smoke during the year, just to be able to talk about them here on the show. There's always a lot of cigars on these lists I've never tried. In some cases, never seen.
True.
So I always find that interesting, and it's good to take notes and add them to my to-do list, if you will. So we'll also be attempting to tell you about the flavors and notes and subtleties in some beers and some spirits. We'll try to start out with one from a brewery we love out of Fort Collins, Colorado, Odell Brewing Company.
It's hard to not like what they
always,
have.
Always spectacular. We're going to be trying their crispy lager called Lagerado. Which I suppose is a Colorado lager. From another brewing company that I swear is in my top three, I think. Parish Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Broussard, Louisiana. Yeah. These are the guys that do Ghost in the Machine.
It's amazing.
And then we had that Holy Ghost, which was their rarefied double. Well, today we'll be trying an IPA from them called Actius Luna. It is a triple IPA from Parish Brewing Company. So hard to go wrong with Parish, though. I mean, these guys are just
Parish is amazing.
So consistent. And from Heist Brewery in Charlotte, North Carolina, we'll be trying their bourbon barrel-aged stout called Social Outcast, which I kind of identify with.
I love those kind of things.
Yeah. So
you say bourbon barrel.
And today, Ian has brought a whiskey in from his own private collection that we'll be trying. It's the Jameson Triple Triple. It's triple distilled and triple cask. And I find myself looking at this, and I believe we have a smoking and toasting first today, ladies and gentlemen. For 368 episodes, I believe this to actually be the first time that this Irish whiskey that Ian has brought in is a bottle of whiskey that it does not look like he has cracked the seal on. Oh, okay, okay. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but he just reached up with his finger and just kind of like
it's down to here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I couldn't tell from here, and I was a little concerned about our OSHA safety regulations.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make sure that we were safe. Like I cracked the top of the bottle, so there's no this has a screw top with the little thing that breaks off on the bottom. I want to make sure that no
perforations,
one cut their finger on it or anything. And then also, you have to clear the neck of the bottle just enough to wait, to lessen the spills that we have.
Yeah, before every show, we go and get some paper towels. I got a big stack for today, but hopefully we won't need that since the neck of the bottle has been cleared. So all of that is things I'm really looking forward to the triple. I like Irish whiskey in general, and this just looks good.
This is a fun bottle.
It looks good. So I'm excited about that. Plus, we'll bring you our regular and most popular segment on the show as we get to the later portion of the program. We will bring you once again another episode of Drinking News. And today's Drinking News teaser headline: Taking a Bite Out of Stupidity. So we'll look forward to that. Plus, we'll talk about Cigar Snob's Top 15 Cigars 2023, Cigar Journal's Top 25 New Cigars of 2023, and all kinds of other things going on in the world of cigars and brews and spirits.
We have a whole list of lists.
Including news about a craft beer vending machine for shredding guitarists. It's kind of like, think of it as Guitar Hero. And if you play well enough, you can actually get a beer out of the machine.
I'm in.
Yeah, doesn't that sound good?
I don't know what's happening here anymore.
Talk about encouraging young musicians to practice. It's a good thing. So we'll get to that. Plus, are brewers sick of brewing hazy IPAs? There's a lot of them out there. Pretty much every brewery, with a few exceptions, has one or two. Or three
the
or four.
IPA thing has gotten a little outrageous, considering you have to have an IPA.
Yeah.
Then you have to have a hazy IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to have a juicy IPA.
Right.
Then you have to have
like a West Coast IPA.
A West Coast IPA, a New England style IPA.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Well, there's some crossover.
By then, where's the barley wine? Why is no one making barley wine? I want a barley wine.
As a person who, I will openly admit, IPA is my favorite style of beer, and hazies are my favorite IPAs. But that said, yeah, I'm always a little disappointed if I go and sit down at a brewery someplace and there's not some darker beer options, maybe a barley wine, maybe a couple of really interesting stouts, a porter. Always love when I find a porter.
Yeah, porters,
because
all kinds of stuff.
It's a little more subtle, but can be
barley
really
wine.
amazing.
Come on,
and
people,
delicious.
barley wine.
What would be the difference? Why would they get sick of brewing hazy as opposed to other IPAs or beers? Are they harder?
It's not necessarily that they're harder. I think they just are the brewers are finding that they personally, many of them, I think, and we'll get into this when we take a look at the article, but I think many of the brewers are getting a little bored by it. They are more excited. Yeah, they're more excited about working on beers that are not as common, so they can see what they can create. I think they feel like been there, done
I have
that.
a lot of respect for breweries that keep a few of the different things you don't always see. Like Eureka Heights always has an ESB. I love that.
And I love Eureka Heights. And speaking of breweries that are not afraid to do something a little different, we want to say huge congratulations to one of our absolute favorites. Michael Duckworth of True Anomaly Brewing has been on the program.
True Anomaly Brewing is walking distance from your place.
I know. That's just this is every now and then
I'm
I
a little
say to
jealous of that.
Every now and then I say to my wife, I love my life. But yeah, True Anomaly is amazing, and we've had Michael Duckworth, the founder and head brewer there. We've had him on a number of times. He's one of our favorite guests. True Anomaly has just been named for the second year in a row the Brewery of the Year for Texas.
That's so fantastic.
And I think that's cool because in Houston, we find a lot of times it feels like the brewing press, if you will, is a little biased against Houston.
We're a little Austin-centric.
Yeah, they have a tendency to really focus in on Austin. And then if they're going to take a break from Austin, they'll recognize somebody from Dallas. So for a Houston brewery to win that back-to-back, and that's where we live. So we're
Third Coast for the win.
We're a little homers for that, but I think it's wonderful, and I'm excited to be able to congratulate them and talk about. We had a True Anomaly beer on the show last week, as a matter of fact, which was very, very cool. So a lot of things we'll be getting to on the program and looking forward to them. Ian, I don't know if we have time to go into your cigar of the week. We might have to do that in the next segment.
So.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, let's jump in then.
I
Do you
can
have
knock this out.
Have an opportunity to smoke something interesting this week?
Well, I did. I picked up a Foundation, the Wise Man.
Ooh.
The Macho Raton. This is the 4 3/4 by 60 Figurado.
Ooh.
What a pretty cigar. Is Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Jalapa Corojo 99 binder, and Nicaraguan filler. The appearance on this dark chocolate with espresso mottling around it. Oily and leathery wrapper, 2 bands, both in red and gold. One of them's the Wise Man band, and the other one's the smaller secondary band is the one that says Macho Raton, which is what they're calling that size. The pre-light sniff on this mild earth, barnyard, and sweet coffee. The pre-light draw, I used a V-cut on this. You can see a picture right here. It has a medium draw, sweet cappuccino. I kind of got through it, a little bit of mocha and earth as well. Yeah. The initial light, Nicaraguan pepper blast right off the beginning. Massive cromulent plumes of dense smoke delivering pepper and wood. Yes, I said cromulent.
It's the Klingons and the Cromulants, right? That's what I think it is.
Cromulent.
Yeah.
The first third of this cigar, sweet cappuccino and mocha with a spicy backbone, earthy and woody finish. Retrohale is wood and coffee with a touch of pepper. Solid ash, good burn. The second third of this is a pretty small cigar. It's 4 3/4 inches. So by the second third of this, I have to take off that secondary band,
Right.
which tore the wrapper.
Oh, hate when that happens.
The primary band also tore the wrapper. Didn't seem to affect the performance.
Tore the Rapper is one of my favorite hip hop artists.
Tore the Rapper.
Yeah.
It does, however, look comical at this point.
Yeah.
Woody and sweet cappuccino with mocha notes are still present. The cigar flavors are fantastic. Big, dense, wonderful smoke. The last third of this, I didn't smoke. It just started falling apart on me.
Oh, I hate that.
And I was really, really kind of upset about that, considering this cigar was $14.
Oh. Yeah. And you don't get to smoke a whole third of it? Yeah.
And it's not that big a cigar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So
if I smoke 2/3 of a near 5-inch cigar, I got 2.5 inches out of it, or 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches, right? That should be about right. So the last third is just falling apart. So at $14, I give it a 3.
Wow, I totally understand.
You're losing it on that one. It fell apart on me. Now that won't not stop me from buying another one and trying it, because I haven't had much issues with those. But
by the way, I will just agree with your measurements, because I was promised there would be no math. So
Yes.
whatever you say, I'll just go, yeah, that sounds right to me. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back. I'll tell you about my cigar. Plus, we have a mystery beverage to try. All coming up. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show's about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, and we will be right back. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, and occasionally about other beverages as well. And we do something here on the show pretty regularly that we call the mystery beverage. And for the mystery beverage, one of us, sometimes it's Terry, our engineering producer, sometimes Ian will do it. A lot of times I will bring in a beverage that we all sample before anyone except for the person that brought it knows what it is. And sometimes that's just to create a spirit of fairness. Like
sometimes it's not Malort.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes we've had a few of them that we liked, although I will say we probably disliked more of the mystery bevs than we've liked. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Yeah. But then that's part of the fun of the mystery beverage is you really don't know what it is, right?
Until we make that reveal. So I brought today's in. It's a little something I picked up about a week ago, and I'm excited to try it because I have not. and see what we think. So we poured it before the show.
It's a kind of a bright straw color.
Tropical.
It almost seems like some sort of a Mountain Dew flavor on the nose.
Yes,
doesn't
it does.
It does, but it has a.
Now that you say that, yes,
it has a weird bitterness to the nose too.
Almost.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, almost cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, transfers into it.
When you said cleaner, it kind of tastes like cleaner.
Yeah. Fabuloso.
Furniture cleaner, to be precise.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got that lemon, like in a lemon pledge. Yeah.
When you said that, yeah.
Wow.
Right on.
So I'm going to be honest. I had slightly higher hopes for this one.
Yeah, this is
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, you never want to say it's interesting. If somebody goes, "Oh, you went on a date last night. How was it?" If they say it was interesting, then you know it was not a good date.
it doesn't get better on the second sip.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
It stays the same, and it doesn't taste as good as Mountain Dew. Is the thing?
No,
it has
doesn't.
has slight hints of mellow yellow, but not the good kind.
It still has a Mountain Dew-ish kind of thing about it.
Yeah, it's got several things happening on the finish, one of which is the furniture polish that we mentioned. But the other is a little bit of that artificial sweetener, bad aftertaste.
Yeah.
And those things do not go well together nor separately. Well, like I said,
Diet Dew.
I was I had a little higher hopes for this one. This is from All Hands. It is a craft cocktail, a raspberry lemonade vodka soda.
Raspberry.
100% no raspberry on it.
None at all.
Made with 6 times distilled craft vodka, 100% all natural ingredients. I suppose floor wax is natural, right?
I mean, shellac comes from a beetle's butt.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's all natural. Doesn't mean I don't want to drink it. Turpentine comes from a tree. Don't want to drink it.
I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up the show right here because we're not going to get any better than shellac comes from a beetle's butt. Yeah. That's going to be basically the peak of the show. It's all downhill from here. So there you go, folks.
I also used the word cromulent a little too early in the show.
Yeah, you did. It's like you could have saved that for later in the program. Kind of like how we save drinking news, for later in the program. So yeah. Which I don't know if that's
I peaked early today.
I don't know if that's a good strategy or not, but saving things for later in the show.
Hey, in its defense, the All Hands vodka soda doesn't have that cloying, can't get it out of your palate.
In other words,
because a couple sips of beer knocks
take a drink
it right
of
out.
the St. Arnold show beer that you brought.
It seems to knock it right out, and
oh yes, and thankfully so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm disappointed. No, I don't know, something about maybe it was the can.
The can doesn't look like it. Looks like it's going to be something else that comes out of a can than this yellow. It really does.
I mean, they
look
had
like
to
something
taste
different.
this before they canned it, right?
This is what I don't understand about these canned.
Somebody said,
craft
"Yeah, that's
cocktails.
good. Put it in there."
Exactly, and it's like if this were my company, I'd say, guys, I appreciate what you've done. Keep working. Right?
Right.
So you want us to just throw all this away?
No,
I
like
just
the
put it.
direction you're heading in.
You're on the path. Keep going. Get rid of the furniture polish taste, and let's convene again in a week. I don't know what would be so hard about that. Oh, but I failed to mention, by the way. Says right here on the can, it's bar strength.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I have no concept of what
ABV
bar
on it?
strength means. I'm not sure. Maybe you can find it on the can.
Oh, it's 10%.
So yeah. Well, it's got that going for it
well,
at least.
I suppose there's that, right?
Yeah. I wonder if by the last one of the 4-pack, you hit
4 cans of this, you're going to know about it.
Yeah, you would be not minding the furniture polish so much. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I got to tell you about my cigar this week. It's Smoking and Toast. Welcome back to Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
Not to mention true to life sound effects.
That's right, and that's good to know that...
That sounded like a can opening because I actually opened a can.
Yeah, instead of just downloading a file.
That's
that
right.
said can opening and hoping that it actually sounded like a can. We just tried our mystery beverage from All Hands Craft Cocktails. I've looked them up on the web during the break. All Hands Craft Cocktails are actually based out of right here in Houston, Texas. But I think they get these done for them by other
made in
companies.
Florida for All Hands. Made in Florida by All Hands for All Hands Spirit Works in Houston.
So here's what I found. This one is a raspberry lemonade vodka soda. They have a lineup of 5 vodka sodas on their website. The raspberry lemonade is one. They also have the classic vodka tonic, a vodka soda cranberry, a vodka soda cherry limeade, and a vodka soda ruby red grapefruit. Now, I don't know if I'm brave enough to try any of these.
There was no raspberry in that. I couldn't taste any raspberry in the lemonade at all. And I love raspberry lemonade.
I didn't get any raspberry. I will tell you a couple other things, too. It says, great in a can, even better over ice. It says 2 cocktails in 1 can. So this is actually apparently 2 portions.
Well, or either that or it's 10%, and they're thinking, well, that's
so when you
right?
slam back a can or 4 of these, you are slamming back 8 cocktails.
I don't want to slam back any of these.
Yeah, but what's the ABV on that?
10%.
10%. And apparently that's true.
I
And
mean, it
says,
will work.
by the
Yeah.
way.
It will do its job. If your goal is to catch up with the rest of your crew because you got there late.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It says on the website, All Hands Cocktails are damn fine, award-winning, ready-to-drink craft cocktails in an adventure-proof can. I don't know what that means. Each can is thoughtfully mixed with highest-quality vodka that can be sourced, all natural flavors, premium soda water, and then
I
canned
think when
at
they
a sturdy
say damn
10%.
fine, though, I think it's damn with a comma and then fine in the way that my wife says fine when I'm like, are you okay?
And she's like, damn, fine.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not damn fine. It's damn, comma, fine.
Just out of curiosity, I wonder about your strategy when that happens. When she says fine, is it best to continue to question to see if you can get to the heart of what's actually wrong? Or is it best to just go, okay, I'll leave it alone?
You know, I'm not the best at relationships because my initial instinct is to go, oh, you said you're fine, then you must be fine.
Great. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, well, I'm going to go have a cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
I feel like that's probably not the best strategy.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I was wondering how your success rate
Intellectually, I
was
know
with
that's not
these
the right
things.
way. But
And
it
I
does
sleep
kind of
on the couch a lot.
It does kind of trigger my fight or flight a little bit.
Yeah, I understand. One of these things I would say to all guys, if you're considering getting married, it's a wonderful thing, and my wife is great. I have no complaints. But one of the things that you probably want to do is invest in a comfortable couch. I'm just saying. Oh, for a moment I thought you were pouring that Lagerado into the same cup as the mystery beverage, and I was like, no,
I don't
please
think they'd mix well.
While Ian is taking his first sip and smell of the Lagerado, let me tell you about the cigar that I smoked this week. You don't take a hit of a bong, Ian. Just take a sip of the Lagerado.
I wanted you to hear the sip. I wanted you to experience it.
It was audible.
It was audible. That's a damn fine beer. Have you tried yours yet?
Odell is known for damn fine.
I mean,
beers.
Odell makes 90 shilling, which is pretty amazing to me.
Boy, this is good.
Yeah, this has
a crispness. It has a real
crisp.
Now, when I say this is damn fine, I mean it like as
you don't mean
like
damn
no
comma
commas,
fine.
no capitals. You're not capitalizing the entire word fine, right? This
is like when you say to your wife, "You are damn fine."
That's right. Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." You're a man with a future.
Yeah, those words can mean so many
that
different
works.
things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lagerado is good.
Yeah, I like this. It is super crisp, and has that.
It is very like green apple crispy without tasting like green apple.
To me, this is one of the beers that you should pull out when you got a friend over and he goes, oh, I'll just have like a Miller Lite or a Bud Light.
Yes.
Well, I don't have any of those in my fridge, but let me let you try this and see if you like it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling they will. Because it's just got so much flavor packed right up front.
Coming in at 5%, very crushable.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard the love of Lagerado, that place where this is so tiny.
Yeah,
God, I'm old. Where the horizon,
I can give you my Clark Kent reading glasses.
The place past the horizon where the mountain air is crisp and each sunset is the perfect shade of gold. Take it easy and linger longer.
I do love the can. Like it's very, it very much communicates the crisp freshness of this beer. That's almost a nice painting, by the way.
Oh, so there's a
train.
There's a guy sitting on the train here that's going through the mountains, and he's sitting on the roof of the train and just chilling. It looks like he's like chilling, leaning back, drinking a beer, and watching the mountains.
That's what they do in Colorado.
They sit on top of
They
trains.
sit on top of trains and drink beer and watch the mountains.
Sounds cold.
I love it. Yeah, it probably is.
That's a dang good beer.
Take a moment. Thank you for the refill. Let me take a moment to tell you about the cigar that I had this week. It was the Man of War Virtue 10th Anniversary Torepedo.
All right.
Now,
I love Man of Wars. I'm just going to go ahead and point that out.
before I was a fanboy, before a lot of cigar lovers were quite familiar with the name A.J. Fernandez, A.J. was blending a line of mostly full-bodied smokes called Man of War. He eventually added some mellower ones to the line, and the somewhat lighter Virtue was one of those. When Virtue hit its 10th anniversary, he did an anniversary edition of the cigar, and that was what I smoked that I want to share with you about this week. The Man of War Virtue 10th Anniversary Torepedo is a beautiful, lighter-bodied, lighter-colored cigar. The band is light blue and white with darker blue for the lettering and for part of the Knight's helmet there. I never quite understood, by the way, why some of the Knight's helmets had like what looked like a floor mop brush on the top. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because it does on this
plume.
band. Yeah. What did that do and accomplish in battle? Right?
I think those were symbols of status.
Oh, okay.
Rank.
I thought maybe they used it to, I don't know, shine their swords. I don't know.
At the end.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Anyway, it's a really nice looking cigar. The wrapper leaf for the Virtue is Ecuadorian grown Connecticut shade, and the filler tobacco is from Nicaragua. Now, that's almost like a little bit of a contradiction because Nicaraguan tobacco is generally fairly strong, and Connecticut shade, unless you go with a Connecticut broadleaf, general Connecticut shade is usually fairly mild. So I clipped the top of the Torepedo with my cigar scissors, and I took a minute to study this slightly box-pressed beauty. There were some grassy notes on the pre-light with buttery toast and almonds on the cold draw. Once I lit it up, it was not necessarily a Nicaraguan pepper blast, but it was a little spicier in the first few puffs than what I was anticipating. The spice definitely made things more interesting, at least for me, than your typical Connecticut shade cigar. Nuttiness, oak, and pepper dominated the notes for the first third, and the burn was razor straight. The Virtue produced a copious amount of billowy smoke as well. Second third didn't change a lot, but became a little bit creamier with a silky quality to the smoke that was a nice offset to the pepper. It allowed it to be a bit spicy without venturing past medium-bodied. By the final third, a nice leathery note had joined the party, giving the cigar a little more nuance and lingering after the finish. Excellent construction all the way through, and mild to medium in body, building closer to medium by the final third. I really enjoyed the Man of War Virtue 10th Anniversary, and I think I may have found a new favorite when it comes to milder cigars. I smoked this one in the afternoon while I was drinking some salted caramel iced tea, but for those of you who love your morning coffee, I am betting that this Man of War would pair up just beautifully with a cup of strong coffee. Bear in mind that I am an admitted A.J. Fernandez fan and that you might want to add a grain of salt to my review, but I feel like this cigar is a winner. And I'm not always really enthusiastic about milder cigars. At about $6 to $8 a stick, it is a solid 5. But I've seen it on sale online for as low as about $4. And at that price, it's a steal, and it would score more like a 6.5.
Nice.
Either way, worth it. AJ continues, at least for me, his run of cigar victories. So here is to you, Mr. Fernandez, for continuing excellence. And even some of these older smokes that AJ made before he was releasing cigars with his own name on them are definitely worth trying out because there's some good stuff. He's made stuff for CI and JR that are, exclusive to them.
Yeah, some of my absolute go-to budget cigars are his blends.
Well, the Nica Libre cigars. Oh, my goodness, those are good. Those are really good.
So good.
Yeah. So anyway, here's to AJ. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez, for doing what you do and making me happy on a regular basis. I absolutely love it. Just back to this Lagerado for a moment.
It's so good.
It's really good. Like the more I sip this, the more the flavor just kind of opens up and you get that apple crispness and sort of a green apple vibe to it. It's not too overwhelming. It doesn't get tart like a green apple tartness, but you get a little of that apple taste and it works really, really well in the Pilsner. Very nice. got this in a sampler pack from Odell, by the way. They had an IPA and a 90 shilling and this, and it was good. But I hadn't had this until now.
That 90 shilling is so good.
Oh, it really is. I was going to bring that in actually as a mystery beverage, but I thought, no, let's do the Lagerado just to see how you reacted to it sort of sight unseen. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty good thing. We got a lot to talk about this week. There are some cigar lists that we're going to go over, and we'll talk a little bit about the best cigars of the year for 2023, including a list from Cigar Snob of their top cigars of the year. And I don't subscribe to a lot of cigar magazines, but I do subscribe to Cigar Snob. There's just something I really enjoy about that coming in the mail.
I was thinking I need to subscribe to a couple of them.
It's really an enjoyable magazine. So let's start this list. I don't know if we'll have time to finish it in this segment or not, but let's start this list and see how we do. We're going to start. Let me see if I'm starting at the. Okay, so yes, so we'll start with cigar number 25, and we'll count up from there. So it's a 25 cigar list. At number 25, and I guess I'm going to have to try this because I am gun shy about Gurkhas, but the Gurkha Nicaragua series comes in at number 25. It's a $9.75 cigar. They rated it with a 92. At 24 is the Fratello Arley Quinn. And Fratello was done, the guy behind that was a former NASA employee here in our own Houston area who basically quit and said, I'm going to make cigars, which is a pretty cool thing to do. Tatuaje's Black Label, made by My Father Cigars, is number 23.
Hard to go wrong with Tatuaje.
$8.25 cigar. The Fiat Lux by Luciano. Here's one of those cigars I have not had. Don't even recall seeing it at my tobacconist. It's an $8.75 cigar. They rated it a 92, and it comes in at number 22 on the list. Number 21, the Cavalier Geneve White Series. I am not familiar with this one either. It is a USA.
I've had the Cavalier Geneva. I've had they had 3 different flavors when I tried them.
This one is made in Honduras, but it's a Connecticut wrapper with filler from Paraguay, Nicaragua, and the Dominican Republic.
And they have a gold diamond on each one that is actually smokable gold.
Right, it's a smokable gold that's part of the wrap, blend into the wrapper. The Arturo Fuente Magnum R comes in at number 20. From Tabacalera Fuente. It's a $14.30 cigar, ranked a 92. Always hard to go wrong with Fuente, even though I have to admit I don't smoke nearly as many Fuentes as I used to.
I pick up a short story or a short story Maduro about once a month, just because dang fine cigars.
Just because, yeah. Number 19 was the Illusione CG4 Maduro. And I admit I've tried a number of those. I'm going to have to try that. But I don't think I've had that one.
I love their MJ12 and their MJ12 Maduro.
The Crowned Heads Court Reserve Serie E comes in at number 18 on their list. It's from Ecuador, or the wrapper's from Ecuador, but it's made at their Tabacalera in Nicaragua. And it's an $11.50 cigar, rated at 92. From La Gran Fabrica Drew Estate in Nicaragua. The Florida Sun-Grown 20-acre farm comes in at number 17. I have not even seen this. I haven't seen that either. I'm not familiar with it at all.
The band doesn't look familiar at all.
And at number 16, the HVC Selección number 1.
Now that I'm familiar with.
That I have seen. I don't think I've smoked one, though.
That's a good cigar.
Have you had one of these?
Yes.
Yeah, so this came in at a rating of 92, and it was an $8.40 cigar. So we'll get into some of the rest of this list in the next couple of segments. Plus, we have the list from Cigar Authority that we'll talk about. But I always enjoy these lists because I like to make notes and go, okay, haven't tried that.
Right.
Need to seek that out. If it was good enough to make this list, it's good enough to at least try.
It's got to be at least pretty darn good.
At least decent, right? So we'll get to some of that as we continue on the program, as we revisit the best of lists of 2023, as there are some new ones coming out, which means it's February, right?
Right.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back. Still to come, drinking news and a whole lot of other surprises at Smoking and Toasting. Thank you for listening. Ooh. Now, I guarantee if that had been a recorded sound effect, you'd have actually paid extra for that one.
That was pretty juicy.
Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. During the break, we were talking a little bit about Valentine's Day. You took your wife out for Valentine's Day, Ian?
No, I took my wife in. I grilled up lobster and scallops for her and a steak for me. And by the way, I freaking nailed it on the grill.
I love it. I love it. That's so good.
Like on my steak, it was like even the fatty portions were just like the whole melt in your mouth.
Oh, so good.
Perfect.
Wow.
If I have to toot my own horn on that. But I bought her a bottle for Valentine's Day. I bought her a bottle of Chateau Montelena Chardonnay. She's been wanting to try it. Impressive. She loves the movie Bottle Shock.
Yeah.
She's watched it so many times. She's never tried the wine. So I made dinner, and then we sat down and had that bottle of wine while we watched Bottle Shock. So she really enjoyed that.
We watched a wine movie for Valentine's Day, too. My wife found out I had never actually seen Sideways. Knew a lot about it, but had never actually seen it.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's wonderful. Paul Giamatti. He's great in it.
He's always good.
Yeah. So it was the movie that came out in, I want to say, the late 90s, early 2000s maybe. And it almost caused a wine sensation when it came out, because it's not necessarily about wine, but he's the main character and he's obsessed with wine, particularly with Pinot Noir.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the movie, but I didn't think it was about wine. I didn't think of it like that.
In any case,
never saw it.
I'd never seen it. My wife had. She said, "You've never seen it? We have to do it." So we, rented it on Apple and watched it. It was very good. But I wanted to share with you before we try this beer a life hack. Because when someone shares life hacks with me and they actually work, I'm always so thrilled to learn something new that will make life easier. So this is what I did for Valentine's Day. Pay attention to this. Back around Christmas, the Papa's restaurant chain, which is a very good, it's not, I say chain restaurant, but they're like really, really good quality. They're of a quality that you don't normally find in chain restaurants. But I say chains because, they have a Cajun restaurant, they have a steakhouse, which is probably one of my favorite steakhouses I've ever been to.
Barbecue?
I love their barbecue.
Burger place.
I think barbecue's okay, I think.
But they have probably the best fajitas I've ever had at Papacitos.
The Papacitos
which is a Mexican
fajitas. Now, a lot of people think Papacitos is overpriced, but man, what you're getting is so good.
So my wife and I live walking distance from a Papacitos downtown, which is great. And in the holiday season, they often do this thing where if you come and buy a $100 gift card, like if you're going to give it to somebody for Christmas, that they'll give you like a $10 gift card for every $50 you spend. So you go buy a $100 gift card.
You got $120.
You get $120. And so what I did is I went over and bought the $100 gift card, got the 2 freebies, put them in an envelope, and gave them to my wife for Christmas because she loves Papacitos, right? So I score big at Christmas by giving her an envelope that basically says, we're going to have a great fajita dinner at some point. And then we hadn't used it. The freebie ones that they give you, the bonus ones, expire at the end of February. So my wife says, why don't we go for Valentine's Day and use the cards and get fajitas? I said, that sounds great. It cost me about $20 over the cost of the gift cards. So basically, I got bang for my buck twice.
Nice.
I got to give it as a Christmas gift, and I got to use it as payment for Valentine's Day. I'm just saying, life hack, people.
Wow.
Hashtag
pay attention.
winning at life.
Uncle Cruz is helping you out here. That's all I'm saying. Parish Brewery is a Parish Brewing Company, one of our absolute favorites. This is their Actius Luna.
This smells
which has a
lovely.
Wonderful looking butterfly on the can there, but it just
I'm
looks,
assuming that's the name of the butterfly.
I'm guessing so. Yeah, I have not looked it up, but these guys know what they're doing when it comes to IPAs. They make Ghost in the Machine, which, as far as I'm concerned, may be one of the best IPAs in the world.
Cruz, you're not going to want this. Why don't you just go ahead and,
so you go ahead and pour yourself some.
go ahead and
since
slide it
I won't
over
want
here, and I'll take care of it. You don't have to bother yourself with it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I would never want to buy this again. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
That's so good. In fact, I may like it even better than the Holy Ghost, which was awfully good.
This is so good.
Yeah, this is just, we were talking about people being tired of IPAs, maybe tired of hazies. Maybe it's because they're not drinking this one. This is outstanding.
I want this with the cigar that you smoked today.
I don't think this would fight a cigar at all. And for a triple IPA to not have a bitterness that would fight a cigar is actually pretty amazing.
It's so round on the front, and then so much in the dry and the bitter in the best possible way, all the way to the end.
It's citrusy on the front, a little bitter in the middle.
It's a little resinous too.
Yeah,
but also in a great way, like a little bit of pine resin kind of thing.
It's 9% ABV,
really good,
and you get a little hint of that strength, that booziness on the finish, but it doesn't necessarily come across like you could easily take this can down.
This is one of those kind of outrageously good IPAs. I think I like this better than the double as well.
Yeah,
this is
amazing,
so good.
Amazing. I just got to say, Parish, you guys, I didn't know if you could outdo yourself, but I believe that perhaps you have. This is spectacular. If you are even remotely a fan of hazy IPAs, you got to try this one.
I mean, if you've had Ghosts in the Machine, you just need to ramp up the malt right up front, and go ahead.
We're going to take a break.
It's over. And
enjoy the rest of this IPA. And when I say the rest of it, I mean the rest of it.
For real.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. In this segment, we'll be tasting Ian's Jameson Irish whiskey, and it is the triple distilled and triple cask.
There's no cork on this bottle, so like listening to it open is not.
It's not nearly as sexy as it.
Interesting.
I will say, as you're pouring that, and I want to go back to the cigar list in a second. But my best friend Dave, his son Sam, and his wife, who's a television writer, just had a baby. So congratulations to them, and welcome to little Rory Murphy into the world. But my wife, who is the best with gifts, right? She's pretty amazing. She rules with gifts. She got this custom baby blanket made and found this little wooden train that spells out Rory, which is the baby's name. And so we put it in a box and sent it out to him as a congratulations. And so I was texting back and forth with him this weekend, and he was thanking us for the gift. And I said, I was gonna send cigars, but I figured I'd wait a year or two. And the reason that I said that, and he loved that, the reason I said that is because Sam, I have a picture of him and his dad, my best friend Dave, and Sam was about 15, and he and his dad are smoking cigars. I just love that picture because it just anyway. Rory's going to start early in life is what I'm saying, and that's okay. As Ian's pouring that whiskey, let me go back to our cigar snob list. We left off at 16, so at 15 on the list of the best cigars of 2023, according to Cigar Snob magazine, is the Plasencia Alma del Fuego, and the only objection I will have to this is that it should have been higher on the list.
Why is it at 15?
Exactly.
Come on.
It should have been higher on the list.
I mean, Plasencia, any of the Plasencia cigars, the Alma Fuego, the Alma Fuerte, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pricey, but they're so good. What was the price on one?
This one is a Robusto, and it's $15.
Yeah. But they're worth it. I've never had a Plasencia that wasn't worth it.
Yeah. And here's another cigar
I've been
line
wanting to try this one.
I have tried this. It's another cigar line that you just can't go wrong with, and that's La Aroma de Cuba. Their Mi Amor cigar at $9 comes in at number 14 on this list.
Yeah, I need to pick one of those.
There is
they just put out one that's like $20.
Yeah,
and I don't know that they have anything that expensive.
I think that's more expensive than anything else online. By the way, check at your favorite tobacconist. I know you can find them online, but I think they have these at the brick and mortar stores too. There's a wonderful little humidipack with 5 different La Aroma de Cuba cigars in it, and it'll have one of those, and it'll have one, and there, it's just it's a great deal because they're trying to get you to try the different ones in the line, so they're a little less expensive. Very, very much a good buy. Speaking of good buys, we're a little biased on this one, both Ian and I.
Is that the cabinet? Is that what I'm looking at?
This is the Aladino Classic.
The
yes. $8.60
Aladino's
cigar.
So good.
We got to, we're a little biased. We got to hang out with the Aladino family.
Roy is so good.
Everything. That was where I first discovered the all-you-can-smoke cigar buffet. And that was how they treated us there, and it was awesome.
It was amazing.
It was awesome. At number 12 on the list, the Rocky Patel ALR second edition. Rocky has been doing some amazing things. ALR stands for age, limited, and rare.
Yes.
And Rocky has been he just keeps coming out with amazing new blends. I don't know how he does it at this point. He really is amazing. Moving into the elite, and by elite, I mean incredibly overpriced section of the list. At number 11 is the Davidoff Nicaragua box-pressed cigar. It's a $20.30 cigar, and it's basically a Robusto. It says it's a Toro, but it's a very small Toro. And I just want to point out, by the way, I have had some, I don't know if I've had this exact one, but I have had a cigar from the Davidoff Nicaragua line, and they are very good. They're not good. Like the super mild cigars that make up most of the Davidoff line. They're really good, very well blended. They're just really overpriced. But I suppose that doesn't factor into the list. At number 10, Aganorsa Leafs Aniversario Corojo cigar.
That's a good one.
This is a $12.99 Robusto, so it's a little pricey, but it's very, very good. The Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich Habano is at number 9.
Yeah.
You've had the knuckle sandwich, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not for real knuckle sandwich, but
I've had that too. Okay. I mean, come on.
The actual cigar. Yeah. And number 8 is
you win some, you lose some.
The Muestra de Saca Unstolen Valor. I am completely unfamiliar with the cigar. I don't think I've ever even seen it. And it comes in at number 8 on the list. It is an expensive cigar. It's $19.75. It's a Toro 6x52. But I do have to say, even just judging from the picture, and you can find this list online, by the way, at cigarsnob.com. It looks delicious. Something about that is very inviting to me. Just that dark, oily wrapper. The Oscar Valadares 10th anniversary cigar comes in at number 7. Have you had the 10th anniversary? I know you're an Oscar Valadares fan.
I love everything Oscar Valadares. That guy, to me, is so good. Like him, and there's a few out there that I just absolutely love.
This is a 6x52. It's an $18 cigar. So it's not cheap.
I would buy that sight unseen just because Oscar Valadares, to be honest with you.
At number 6 on the list, one that Ian and I have spent the last 2 years
smoking
raving
as
about,
many as possible.
The Oliva Serie V 135th Anniversary Edition Limitada. This is the one that is tapered at the foot.
Something about
and has that limited
particular
edition
shape
just works.
It's such a good cigar.
I remember smoking these with our buddy Trenton from Oliva.
Yes, and they hadn't even come out yet. We got some of the first ones he had.
So we had Trenton on the day they announced this cigar was coming out.
Yes,
and had him on again the day it came out.
Yes,
and it was both of those were just great shows. Although I actually preferred the second one because on the second one he brought some and we were able to smoke them, and they were just absolutely fantastic. So that only leaves the top 5 on the list, and I'll pause there before we get to the top 5, because I think it's time to try some Jameson triple. Yeah, it's triple distilled and triple cask. So it's been finished in sherry, bourbon, and Malaga cask. What are you familiar with Malaga?
On the website, Jameson triple distilled Irish whiskey is the triple distilled, triple cask matured. We introduced our bourbon and sherry cask to the hand-selected Malaga cask. And it turns out to be a match made in heaven.
Is Malaga a type of wood, or is that a drink I'm unfamiliar with? The spirit.
It says, though, a word to the wise, you'll only find Jameson triple in travel retail.
Well, now, okay, so I saw that on the bottle. It said travel exclusive. What does that mean?
It means you will only find it in duty-free shops when you're traveling.
So we talked about the Year of the Dragon cigar from that one company from Oliva, actually, that's only available in Chinese duty-free shops. And I said, well, I'll try to get you one. I'll do my best.
So you can find this at the airport duty-free shops.
Yep.
And when I went on the cruise, they had it on the Carnival in the duty-free liquor shop, which they have a big old liquor shop in there.
Oh, so that's where you got this.
You can't buy
cruise.
It and drink it on the ship, but you can buy it when you get off the ship. You can drink it.
Right.
So I don't understand why they wouldn't just have it filled with exclusives, but they had all kinds of stuff in there that you could buy anywhere.
Why would you buy it on the ship?
Now, that being said, these were, I thought, a particularly good deal. Like, I like Jameson. Anyway, Jameson's 30-ish a bottle, right?
Yeah.
25 to 30-ish a bottle, right? This is a 1-liter bottle, and they had these selling for $2 for $70. So $35 for a 1-liter bottle and it's outrageously good.
Yeah. Well, I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, well, let's see. Drum roll, please.
I love it on the nose. It's got a sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's got a fruitier thing than you normally get with the regular Jamesons.
Right. Regular Jamesons is usually... By the way, I told that whole story about my buddy Dave and his son Sam and the baby Rory. The whole reason I brought that up, which I don't think I established, was that he is a Jameson guy. He's like one of the first people I knew that is just like diehard Jameson. He loves Jameson Irish whiskey, which I guess makes some sense. But
well, they make some different ones. They made their Cask Mate series and a few others. This triple though, I first tried this when a friend of mine got it in. She got it when she was traveling back from Bali for business, and she was like, "Have you ever had this?" I was like, "I've never even seen this." Mm-hmm. And we tried it. I was like, "Holy cow, that's good!" And we've only had it a couple times since. And
truly is. It is so mellow, which is the first thing that strikes me about it, because
it's real good.
I was expecting this to just kind of like be. Jameson has a tendency to be big and bold, right?
Yeah.
So I was expecting more of that, and this is just like...
This is like if you take Jameson's and you put sweet fruity butter on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking for what Malaga is, and I cannot find what exactly it is.
Malaga. Maybe it's one of those made-up things like Farfignugan.
Yeah.
Remember Farfignugan?
Well, it says Malaga cask.
There are cask, and it says there's other whiskeys in there, but it says it starts giving this experimental thing about its
it says for the nose on here, initial fruit notes of sweet pear that develop in a zesty citrus peel with some dark fruits in the background, hints of cinnamon and clove, delicately work in balance with the sweet Malaga wine.
Oh, I hear. Here we go.
wine.
Malaga is a sweet fortified wine originating in the Spanish city of Malaga.
There you go.
There you go. That's
okay.
what it is.
So
there's
it's
a Spanish
fortified
city.
wine.
Yes.
And it is named after the city that it originated.
Yeah, because there was a Malaga that popped up as a place, but yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, well, thank you for the research, Terry. I appreciate it. You know, if only there were like some way we had some sort of small handheld device where we could look things up. And,
if there was a supercomputer that you could hold in your hand.
Yeah, I know.
And it says on here, sherry, bourbon, and Malaga cask for a subtle sweetness and extra drop of smoothness. Right here on the bottle.
Well, it is definitely smooth, particularly for Jameson. I love, but it's not necessarily known for being smooth. It's more big and bold than it is smooth. At least that's my general take on Jameson. I do love Irish whiskey though, and Jameson almost embodies Irish whiskey to me.
Well, Jameson is the one everyone loves to hate because it's such a ubiquitous thing. But you know what's wrong with Jameson? Not a thing.
Yeah,
Jameson is fine.
Doesn't fight this IPA either.
That's interesting because I have not gone back to that.
I just happened to do that.
I have no problems having Jameson straight, Jameson
100%.
on the rocks.
Yeah,
it's fantastic no matter how you have
this is probably the best Jameson I've ever had.
This is definitely a next level Jameson. Like I said, you put some butter and some sweetness and scrape it right across the top of your regular Jameson. It's kind of what you got.
I'm actually a little disappointed to discover that Malaga isn't a cool made-up word like Farfignugan. Like, remember, to me, it's so cool when they're able to actually get away with introducing a word like that into the vocabulary. Like, remember Ricardo Montalban and fine Corinthian leather? That isn't a thing. There is no such thing as Corinthian leather.
No, that's leather made in Corinth.
No, it's not.
Corinth.
It's totally made up. It's fictitious.
Because the workshop where they were sewing up the leather was in Corinth, New York, so they call it Corinthian leather.
I'll bet you a $20 cigar that there is no such thing as Corinthian leather. It's not a thing.
Well, there isn't, but that's why it got its name.
Oh.
Because it's not Corinthian leather. It's when they were the factory where they were stitching it up was in Corinth, New York, so they decided to call it Corinthian leather.
What I don't like though is when a company tries to get you to use their brand name in a way that people don't. I'll give you an example. There's a car retail seller here in Houston that's Sewell Motors, right? And so they made this series of commercials where people come on and say, well, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so, and I drive a Sewell. No, you don't. No one drives a Sewell. You drive an Audi or a Chevrolet or a Cadillac.
That's what they
or
sell.
whatever Cadillac. You right. Yeah, and they may sell all these, but no one says I drive a, and then inserts the name of the dealership. You know, like for me, I'd be going, I drive a CarMax. Yeah. You know, nobody does that. That's all I'm saying.
I drive a CarMax.
I drive a Toyota Katie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't do that, and nobody else does. And you're not going to make me say it, no matter how hard you try. Just like, I won't refer to the Bayou Music Center as whoever they've sold it to this year.
Oh,
as
yeah,
their brand
no,
name.
come on.
Because it changes
yeah.
like
That
every
gets
12
tiresome.
months. Yeah, it's like, come on, I am not calling it the Retrograde Center or whatever you've named it.
Still
for this
the
week.
building formerly known as the Summit.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry,
yeah.
Joel.
Sorry, Joel. Sorry. All right, we got to take a break. We will be right
I've
back.
seen
We have
Ozzy and Metallica in that
drinking
church.
news right around there. I saw Smashing Pumpkins and Fleetwood Mac there. Not together, by the way. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back, my friends. This is Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Speaking of fine spirits,
This is a fine
spirit. Fine spirit. The Jameson Triple Triple, which you bought on the cruise you were on, right? At the duty-free show. Well, when you got back on the duty-free
Well,
show.
they had a liquor
You said
store on the
duty.
ship. And it's basically you can't buy liquor and then drink it on the ship. You have to buy all their liquor on the ship. But you can buy it and then you can pick it up on your way out the door, basically.
Now, I saw your, obviously, on last week's show, you had a segment that you did with our buddy Alan Denny, who nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about.
But you guys did a segment on the beers, and it was quite entertaining. But you didn't do anything about cigars, and I was wondering, at any of the ports of call, were you able to pick up any Cubans?
So our ports of call were going to be Costa Maya and Cozumel. And I was really looking forward to Cozumel because there's a Casa de Monte Cristo in Cozumel. And so I was really looking forward to going there, have a cigar, and pick up a box of Cubans. And I don't know what price the Cubans were going to be, but like me and Alan had already strategized. We were like, okay, if they're above this point, we'll split the box, blah, 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 right? So we stopped in Costa Maya, and Costa Maya, I don't think is an actual real place. Costa Maya is a port that's made there to suck money out of your pocket as a tourist.
I was going to
Because
say the same
it's
thing
not
about
like-
Baytown,
well,
but I don't think it has the tourist
It's not
angle
like
to it.
it's not like Cozumel
No.
or a lot of those other places, which are a city where you can, or a town where you can go walk through and like check out the local things. It's not like that. There's nothing else there except for the port, the tourist trap stuff, and then everything else is like where the people who work there live. And then there's excursions where you can go do things like float down a river on an inner tube.
Yeah.
Well, if you're from Texas, I can go do that. Like that's like I don't need to
Yeah,
spend
right, exactly.
a few $100s on an excursion to go do that. So anyway, the bottom line was we didn't do much in Costa Maya, and I kind of expected it, but we walked there and immediately saw a cigar shop that was advertising Cuban cigars, all Cuban cigars. So me and Alan were like, oh, we have to see this. So we walk into the cigar shop, and there's Monte Cristos and Partagas and like all the Cuban brands, Cohiba and all the Cuban brands you can imagine. They were not Cuban. If you're even remotely, this would be like looking at someone trying to sell. I don't even know how to describe it, but like just hanging a tag on something and putting labels on something that like is obviously not it. Have you ever seen a box of Cubans that have 3 to 4 different colors to the wrappers across them?
No, you're always going to get that reddish Cuban
It's
wrapper.
that same color. Yeah.
Same
So
color.
all their boxes, the colors varied from one cigar to the other, no matter what brand it was. I was like, oh, not even close. I didn't even have to look at the labels to see how fake the labels were.
Yeah, and see if they
Like-
said Cohiba.
Abibos.
I bought some quote unquote Cubans in the British Virgin Islands once when I was there on a vacation, and I brought them home and put them in the humidor, and they infected my entire humidor with beetles. I had to throw away every cigar in that humidor.
No.
Yeah, this was years ago, but yeah,
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were
they weren't really Cubans either. So
And I'm standing there looking at him, and the guy comes up to me and Alan because we're kind of laughing about it. The guy comes up, he's like, "Oh, you like Cuban cigars?" And we're both like, "Yeah, I love Cuban cigars." He's like, "Well, what do you think?" And Alan's like, "Well, there are no Cuban cigars here." He's like, and the guy's looking at him. He's like, now he's affronted, right?
right.
So it's like we're not affronted because you're trying to sell us BS.
Right.
Right.
But you're offended
But you're
'cause
mad
we
at us
called you
because
on it.
we're saying, hey, this is BS. And I was like, there's not a Cuban cigar in this place.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, you do have to watch that, especially in the tourist trap places. That's where you're going to.
And I ran into a guy. We were sitting down having lunch, and there was a guy next to us. We started chatting, and he was very excited about his new box of Cubans that he bought. The guy wanted $400 for them, and he talked him down to $200. And I didn't have the heart to say those were worth about $50 or less.
If you talked the 400 down to 200, they were worth maybe 50.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell him, but he was very excited about it. He said he loved the cigars, and I was like, awesome, dude.
Drinking News is coming up, and we'll also finish out this Cigar Snob list with their top 5 cigars of the year for 2023. Stand by, my friends. Welcome back, my friends. This program is called Smokin' and Toastin'. We've been doing this for 368 shows now, or 367 if you don't count the missing mystery episode. But we are thrilled to be here.
The mystery
We want to say
episode.
thank you to all of our radio stations that carry the show now. We are syndicated. We're really, really kind of proud of that. We haven't seen a dime from it yet, but hey, we're at least proud to be heard. So
Start a podcast. You'll make tens of dollars.
Exactly. Literally
tens and
of
tens
dollars.
of dollars.
Yeah. So, all right, good. I just made a spill proving that the
You spilled it right on the paper towel, though.
I
That
sure
was pretty
did.
amazing.
It was good. The problem was it was the Jameson triple that I spilled.
Well, you know what? Here's the
So,
thing.
yeah.
I got most of a liter of it here.
Well, I'm not feeling too bad about it because you got such a good deal on it on your duty free.
I can't believe you got such a good deal on it. That's great.
That'd be $35
I'm
a
gonna
bottle.
slide
If
my
this
cup
was-
over here just for.
I would buy this all day.
Yep. And I wouldn't blame you for it. And by the way, I just want to say I'm a fan of duty free, especially when it comes to kids' diapers. So that's just my
You
thing.
said duty.
No duty.
Well, I suppose, Ian, if you would like to maybe, yeah, very nice. Very nice. And then maybe set that down and reach for the ukulele because, my friends, it is time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news, drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, all. Well, for today's Drinking News story, and remember, this is the segment where we bring you stories from the news, things that really happened that have been reported by legitimate news outlets somewhere. Drinking News is stories that sometimes, in fact, frequently involve drinking, but not always. But they are always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And I've been drinking Jameson triple, so I'm feeling like I'm right in the
You're
in the
getting
groove.
into the golden zone.
I'm right in the golden zone for Drinking News.
There's a point of drinking where you've had just the right amount to where you enter the zone I like to refer to as the knowing.
I was going to call it my happy place, but the knowing
knowing.
sounds way
Knowing.
more
Where
important.
you know pretty much everything
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
like to tell about it like over and over again.
Like those T-shirts that say, I drink and I know stuff and I know things.
That's
Okay.
right. And then
That's what
the
I do.
problem is the knowing is always there's a thin gray line and you always will cross it.
Yes.
At some point in time, you'll tip the line and you'll enter the next zone, which is called the forgetting.
And mercifully, the forgetting is there. Right?
Or sometimes time travel, because if you
Yes.
don't immediately go to sleep, sometimes you come back to awareness in a different place and you're like, how did I get here?
And why am I wearing this Joker costume?
That's right.
So for today's
Not
story,
again.
we're going to go back a couple of years because we've never reported on this particular incident. And here at Drinking News, we believe it's a good idea to bring you important cautionary tales like this one, lest something like this happen to you. This story begins, as so many of ours do, with a couple of buddies sitting around drinking, when suddenly one of them comes up with what seems like a spectacular idea.
Hold my beer.
You've heard before about the idiots who wonder what their dog might do if they get it drunk, right?
Watch this.
And then they proceed to pour beer or even vodka or worse yet, Malort into the pet's water bowl. This never goes well, as generally the dog just winds up falling asleep before waking up later and barfing all over the house. And if you've never experienced what that looks or smells like, you should count yourself incredibly lucky. People have tried it with cats, too. But drunken cats just have a tendency to become even more judgmental of their human captors. And so they begin plotting how they can assassinate you in your sleep as step one of their grandiose plan to take over the world.
I'm going to kill you in your sleep.
But all of these pale in comparison to the brilliant, drunken idea dreamed up by two Florida men.
Florida men.
Who did their part in the ongoing effort to keep the Sunshine State sitting proudly atop the list of WTF, dude.
WTF.
That's a real list, by the way. Or if it's not, it should be. According to a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission report, 27-year-old Timothy Kepke of Hobie Sound thought, the hell with dogs and cats. I'm going to feed some beer to a gator. So he and his buddy, 22-year-old Noah Osborne, no relation to Ozzy, proceeded to go into the Florida marshes where Osborne actually caught an alligator with his bare hands. Now,
Florida.
Wow, this has already moved into an
Now-
amazing blaze.
now, it goes without saying that anytime your night of drinking devolves into, hey, let's go catch an alligator.
To prove a point.
Yeah, that it may
I'm sorry, but at this point in time, you're talking about a certified drunken badass.
Well, I'm just saying, if it devolves into, hey, let's go catch an alligator, it may be a sign that you're a well past last call. And if you are the person that's been appointed that evening's designated driver, you now must also accept the role of designated person to drive away from the swamps and toward the nearest bed where your
Hold
brilliant
on.
buddies can sleep it
in
off.
drunken logic, though, sometimes it's like, hey, dude, grab that alligator over there, bring it here.
Yeah.
You know, and like someone's like, okay, that sounds like a good idea, and does it, you know, or doesn't even think twice about it.
Well, there was
Really?
there was no.
And I grew up in Liberty, Texas. You know, there's a swamp.
Are there alligators there in Liberty?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good to know. Adds to my mental understanding of what Liberty, Texas
so
is
one
all
day
about.
we had one in the yard, and I didn't know what to do, so I called the police. It was like, there's an alligator in the yard.
Come arrest it.
And they're like, okay, we'll send somebody. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was a teenager at the
They
time.
called the fire department.
We've also had cows in the yard. You
Yeah.
know, just so you know.
Well, that's
Not at the same time as the
That's
alligator.
much more common. Yeah. Yeah. If you had cows in the yard and the alligator, pretty soon you just had the alligator. In the yard. That's what I'm saying.
A full alligator.
But there was no designated gator protection agent for our Florida men who proceeded to take the gator that they
GPA
had
wasn't
caught.
there.
Yeah. They proceeded to take the gator that they had caught and somehow pour a number of cans of beer down the reptile's throat.
Florida man.
And not only had to wrestle it and catch it, but open its mouth
And pour beer
and
down.
pour
it.
beer down.
So what did the alligator do? Tell meandering stories that we've all heard before.
Cocaine alligator. Oh, sorry.
Sing karaoke? No. The animal reacted in a much more predictable fashion. It bit the crap out of Kepke. Which should come as no surprise if you live somewhere besides Florida. And of course,
Dang thing bit me.
I want to hear that he bit his arm off and threw it back up on him after he.
and of course, after the
And it was
incident,
like, oh, sorry, I bit your arm off. I always liked you.
I had to take my gator to the vet. This, of course, led to after the incident. Of course, the two men did what any responsible Floridians would do. They posted video of the whole thing on the internet.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and this, of course,
Can't even do it anymore.
this, of course, led to a visit from local law enforcement officials who wound up charging the animal abusers with, and apparently this is a real crime, taking an alligator.
Okay.
Taking?
Taking an
Okay.
alligator. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a crime because I figured a lot of people are deterred from taking an alligator for, obvious reasons.
One would think.
Alligators will bite the snot out of you.
Kepke told the officers that the gator was released back into the wild after the incident, and all of us can only hope that the reptile wasn't too tipsy to swim.
Once he's tasted Miller Lite.
The Florida man also told authorities that he'd had a few beers that day, but that he certainly wasn't drunk.
Nope.
Because, of course he wasn't. Because Florida.
Florida man just does that on a regular day.
The victim in this whole thing, of course, was in fact the gator. Animals' digestive and neurological systems are not equipped to process alcohol, so it stands to reason that even a small amount can affect them in significant ways. Now, one might wonder what the alligator was thinking as the booze began to affect him.
No, the alligator went to call his ex.
But you won't have to wonder that for long, because as an unrequested public service, here at Drinking News, we've prepared a list of answers for you in the form of another of our extremely unpopular top 5 lists. Here, then, is the top 5 list of the things the alligator might have been thinking during its drunken episode. The top 5 things the gator might have been thinking. Number 5, this beer is making me hungry. Now, where does Budweiser keep those Clydesdales? Number 4, maybe I've had a few, but it feels like closing time, and that stuffed plushie of the University of Florida's mascot is starting to look mighty attractive. Number 3, I don't know which sounds better right now, snacking on some beer nuts or eating this guy's nuts. Number 2, Michelob Ultra? Seriously? Do they know how many cases of this swill it's going to take to even get me tipsy? And
Tipsy alligator.
And the number one thing that the gator might have been thinking, number 1, I don't know how much this guy spent on this beer, but this little stunt is going to cost him an arm and a leg. Reporting live from Hobie Sound, where I could swear I just heard an alligator say, "Hold my beer and watch this." My name is Cruz, and that is your
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Isn't it kind of hard to take that seriously?
You know, in a bout of Darwinism that's happening in that story.
A bout of Darwinism. I love that.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're thinking to yourself, let's just go grab an alligator and get him drunk, and then you follow through with it, like there's a line.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a line.
there's a
And
line.
it's the Florida / wherever you are line. Could be Florida Georgia line, but that's a band. It could be Florida Alabama line or Florida Mississippi line.
Floribama, they call it. Yeah.
There's a line you cross when you're
Yeah.
like going from it'd be funny to get a gator drunk and like actually doing it, because that's a lot of effort.
When the line you cross has the word
Yes.
Florida in it, you know you got something that you should stop and consider.
Yeah.
Really seriously.
You don't hear about these stories in, like, say, Washington State.
Well, you don't. And as Ian pointed out, there are gators in Liberty, Texas, which
Yes.
is not necessarily a bastion of intellectual, thought.
There's a thing about gators though. Like gators are they will eat you.
Yes.
There's this basic thing about
This
gators.
basic
They
thing
will
that they
eat
do.
you.
All right. So
They don't have a lot of thought process. If you ever look at a gator's eyes and you think to yourself, I wonder what that gator's thinking. The gator's thinking about eating you.
yeah, exactly.
Or he's thinking about eating you later. That's about it. Because he's like, man, I just ate, but I would eat that.
Yeah.
Or he could be thinking, man, I'm hungry.
He's looking
I'm
at
going to
you.
eat that.
He's looking at you, and you were basically an hour later.
Yes.
Yeah.
You,
to the
you know,
gator.
you remember the old cartoons where like the person they're looking at would turn into a chicken, like a roast chicken?
Yes, right.
That's what the gator is thinking. That's what they're seeing.
Awesome. All right, we got a moment left to talk about this beer, and I haven't even tasted it yet. Have you tasted it?
Not only did I taste it, but I poured myself a second glass.
This is Social Outcast, so while I tasted for the first time, I'll let you tell us what you think.
If you like barrel-aged beer and you
Oh, wow.
want to taste the barrel, and the bourbon.
That's sweet. Is that like brown
You're gonna
sugar?
love this.
Wow, this
'Cause
is
it
very
is-
boozy.
It is very boozy. It's outrageous.
Oh, but it has such a cacao sort of
yes,
nibs
very,
finish.
very chocolatey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cacao nibs, brewed and bottled by Heist Brewing. This is coming in at 13.3%.
It's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously. But this is big. Like, this is not one of those beers you drink by yourself, unless you're that.
I would drink this floating down the river.
Yeah, I know you would. That's the problem.
But I've been told I'm special in some ways.
Yeah. No, this is really good. Tell me what else you get in this. I'm getting like coffee. I'm getting.
I get
oak.
almost a nutmeg. I get the oats, big time oats. I get lots of coffee. It's almost barley wine sticky. Like the mouthfeel is huge.
It really
it's
is.
so ridiculously over the top.
And
There's almost no carbonation to it. There's nothing much about this beer that I don't love.
This comes from Heist Brewery, which is Charlotte, North Carolina. I believe we've had some of their beers on the show before, but it may have been a while.
There's something. Oh, there's a
Marshmallow in there?
coconut.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut marshmallow. Yes,
Coconut
absolutely.
kind of marshmallowy thing. I can go with that.
Toasted coconut.
Toasted coconut, definitely. It is pretty outrageously good. Social Outcast by Heist Brewing.
I'm going to go with a comment you made on the show. May have been our second or third show, and I've remembered it from then until now. Beer good.
Oh, you said it like word for word, almost exactly like I said.
Yeah, I believe that was
Almost
almost exactly that.
That's
yeah.
a direct quote. That's
believe
pretty
so.
amazing.
We're going to take a break, and we will be back. We promised to finish off this list of the top 5 cigars from Cigar Snob for you in our next segment, but we will be drinking more of this from Heist Brewing.
So
it's
good.
Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Ian, I'm wondering, now that we have poured this wonderful Imperial Stout called Social Outcast, if you've had a taste of this and then gone back to the Jameson Triple Trouble.
It's fantastic with the
It
Jamesons.
really makes it almost bourbony, in my opinion, when you go back to the Jamesons.
It outlines, like, there's a little smokiness to the Jamesons
Yeah. Brings that out.
and the woodiness, and then you get that sweet, almost a molassesy kind of thing going on in there. It's really, really, and vanilla. Like, it pulls out some vanilla.
Yes,
that-
lots of vanilla.
that
And it
wasn't
almost
there.
emphasizes a vanilla in the stout as well.
I haven't gone back the other direction yet.
Oh, man, it's worth going in both
Oh,
directions.
yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Let me round out this list just because we're going to run out of time, and I don't want to finish without the top 5.
like oatmeal with marshmallows in it. It's so good.
And that's a good thing. At number 5 on the Cigar Snob list of the cigars of 2023, and we're not even going to get to the other list, but we'll finish this one, is the My Father La Antiquidad. My father, Jose Pepin Garcia, and Jaime Garcia, these guys are like, I don't know, they're like wizards, in my opinion, of crafting and blending
Yes.
cigars. They really got it going on. At number 4 on this list is one of my all-time favorite cigars, the AJ Fernandez Bella Artes Maduro.
Yeah.
I love this cigar.
Such a
I can't
good
get
cigar.
enough of it. It's just one of the most flavorful and wonderful cigars
Ooh, is that
of
the-
all time.
Is that the punch? Which one is
No, it's the H. Upman.
Oh,
At number
H.
3,
Upman, the
the
AJ.
H. Upman Nicaragua by AJ
Yeah.
Fernandez. So you got AJ 2 out of the top 5. And this is one of my favorite of the blends that AJ has done for
That's
anyone
a
else.
great cigar.
Although I will tell you, a real steal, because some of the cigars that AJ has done for the other cigar companies are a little more expensive. The steal is the Hoya de Monterrey Silver.
yeah.
The silver is less expensive than any other blends that he's done for any of the other brands, and it is just as outstanding.
But the Hoyo Black.
I know that. I know that's a favorite of yours. I know you love yourself some Hoyle Black. Number 2 on the list, the Padron 1926 Series Natural. It is a $15+ cigar.
Real hard to go wrong with that.
Scored
though.
a 93, but boy, is it wonderful.
Yeah.
And at number 1, and this is interesting because I have not had this, which makes me kind of a lame fanboy of AJ Fernandez. It's the Foundation Cigars Olmec Maduro, produced at Tabacalera AJ Fernandez in Nicaragua. It's a $14.50 cigars. Foundation Cigars is the company, and this is their number 1 cigar of 2023. Foundation Cigars Olmec Maduro. And the number 1 cigar on this list I have not had, so I apologize to everyone.
I have had this.
You have.
I did. I rated it a 5.5 at $12.50. It was fantastic.
Nice. Where'd you pick that up? Was that a Casa?
I think probably Casa.
I may have to go by there and
Casa's
get a
so
box.
convenient to come here. Like I can stop there, and then it's moments from here. So it's nice.
You know, it's been a while since we've done a show there. We should talk to our buddies there and go
I will
back
talk
and do
to
the
Steve.
show.
I'm trying to find a few cigar people to come in on with us. So I don't have anything lined up right as of yet, but we got a few things that I'm working on. We're going to try and get some breweries from outside Texas, get them to do a Zoom or a FaceTime or a Skype meeting.
Yep.
We're going to try and get some cigar companies, and we haven't had a whole lot of cigar reps in recently. So I'm going to try and get that and get some on locations going on.
I believe we should
Working on
rectify
this.
that. Yes, absolutely. Well, I just want to say, we started out with the mystery beverage, the raspberry lemonade vodka soda, and then everything got better from there.
I still have some if you want that.
Thank you. No, the Lagerado was spectacular from
Fantastic.
Odell, and then we moved to that incredible hazy IPA, that triple IPA.
Yeah, we
from
went from
Parish Brewing.
5% to 9%,
and then we jumped up to
13.3%.
the social outcast, which was amazing, and then of course the Jameson triple, which thank you for picking that up.
It's
at
pretty
duty free.
outrageously good,
It
right?
really is. And the next time you're traveling in such a way, please buy 2, and I will be happy to take one of them off your hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's some good stuff. We love when we like things as much as we did on the show today. And I know some people have accused us of saying you guys like everything. But in fairness, we didn't like the raspberry lemonade vodka soda.
No, it's not good.
Yeah. So
Also,
we're-
I didn't like my cigar exploding on me.
That's true. So it does happen that we're not necessarily raving about everything. But in fairness, we try to bring stuff
We're
on the
also
show.
not haters either.
Yeah, we try to bring stuff on the show that we think we're going to like, and then sometimes
Mostly
it
because we're
doesn't go
paying
well.
for everything.
Exactly. When you're buying stuff, I bought a 4-pack of that friggin' raspberry lemonade vodka soda. What am I going to do with the
Good
other
luck.
3? You know?
Give them to someone you don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave them on the elevator at your.
I
Yeah,
want to
it's
see.
your
I want to
apartment
see.
building.
I want to see Cruz's leftover mystery beverage
Oh my
refrigerator
God.
at
It's
home.
not pretty. You know what's even worse than that? In my closet, I have the leftover 6-packs for all the non-alcoholic beers that I bought for our non-alcoholic beer blind taste test.
You need to just leave a 6-pack in the elevator every time you go down.
Or what I like to call it, my 5-pack of sadness. Have a great week, my friends. We love you guys, and thank you so much for supporting and listening to the show and viewing it on YouTube. Thanks to Adam in the Sky, our producer, to our DJ on the Wheels of Steel, Mr. Terry Michaels. He's Ian Barry. I'm Cruz. Have a great week, my friends. And
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all. Trust no one.
I must be the biggest sucker.